will be starting with Elonroad by David Sparrefors, commercial manager at Elonroad, where he leads the company's go-to-market and growth strategy. David, are you ready? As you're ready as you can be, David, the stage is yours. Welcome.
Hi, everyone. My name is David Sparrefors. I'm here from Elonroad. And just to start off, I'm going to answer the question that's on everyone's mind. No, we're not associated with Elon Musk. The name means electricity on road, and that's exactly what we're doing. We put electricity on the road instead of standing still charging with cables. So this is for electrical vehicles. And today we're going to talk about ports. We can make the transition from diesel to electric vehicles cheaper and more productive without compensating on your productivity, your people, or your profit. But first, let me just go back a little bit and talk about the vision of our company. We, in the end, we will be on public roads. So, for example, me coming from Sweden, I should be able to drive all the way from Sweden to here in Valencia without needing to stop and charge my car unless I want to, or stop for a break or something like that. But as a startup, you have to start somewhere and go to where the market really needs it and is screaming for you right now. And for us, that is in logistics hubs such as ports. And we just heard from Hitachi, electrification is ongoing. But when you're shifting your diesel vehicles to electric vehicles, it comes with a lot of challenges. Not only does the vehicles cost more, generally, but it also increases the downtime of the vehicle. You have to stand still and charge them. On top of that, it requires much more space, and you're reliant on a grid that might not be capable, like Hitachi said, to supply you with that energy. Our solution is a conductive charging solution. It's fully automatic, and we have two versions. So when you're standing still, or when you are driving or moving. And it works the way that we have an electric rail in the, on the ground or in the ground, and underneath the vehicle there is an energy collector that falls down automatically and you start charging. And to just show this a little bit, see if this video starts, so if you can please click it to start. This is in our collaboration with Kalmar, an OEM for reach stackers, thermal tractors, and as you can see on the video, it might be hard to see, there's a rail on the ground, and there you see the arms, the energy collector falling down, and it starts charging. So at this moment right now, this specific vehicle is charging at 350 kilowatt, and as it reaches the end of the rail, it will be more battery, have more battery than when it started. And through this, what we've seen together with our partners, that we can actually make the transition to electric vehicles cheaper than investing in a new diesel fleet. And we do this by being able to reduce the battery size, so that reduces the vehicle cost. There's no downtime with our solution. And also because you're charging continuously throughout the day, the grid has less pressure, which means you don't have to have the big investment into the grid upgrades. We are now on 3 continents with our clients, and we just signed a contract in Singapore. We are doing our first installations in Long Beach in the US. And there's 2 sectors that we focus on, the ports and logistics. To finish off with, we are raising our Series A at the moment. Really interesting to hear from the VCs earlier today. I hope we can have some discussions later. And just to finish off the final slide, when we're transitioning from diesel fossil fuels to electric, everybody thinks about cables, and that's the only solution. So I urge you to really reconsider and rethink about smarter charging solution that actually makes it possible to go to electric without compromising on your productivity, your people, or your profit. Thank you so much.
Thank you, David. That was great. That was perfectly on time. Couldn't be, it was perfect. Next, we have Guillermo Fernandez Darder from Passify. Guillermo is helping ports. Good to see you. It's a startup today. Guillermo is helping ports and logistics operator transform access control and identity management. Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So, hi everyone. I'm Guillermo Fernandez, Business Development Manager at Passify, and we are digitalizing the truck handling operations in ports and logistics hubs. So, as many of you know, port terminals and logistic hubs are some bottlenecks and operational frictions due to the growing demand of both efficiency and security. So, as you can see in the slide, you can realize that they are facing some problems. Some of them are the traffic caused by the traffic that is causing long queues in the terminals. The tedious paperwork, the tedious paperwork both for the terminals, the terminal staff and the truck drivers, the underutilized capacities. Sorry, I'm messing. Just give me one second. Okay, restart. And so another problem is the language barriers that are making the communication tricky. And the last one is the increase of the, I have here a screen, a decrease of the drugs smuggling in the ports. Okay, so what we do at Passify? At Passify, we are offering fast and simple access to the terminals, giving a real-time visibility for the continuous tracking operations. All of this, it's enhanced by security. We are identifying the truck driver via biometrics, and all of this above is doing by with no hardware required. And apart from that, we are recording all the activity logs in order to offer improvements to the operations in the terminals. We have and how we do that? We have a suite that we've developed for connecting the truck drivers, the terminals, and the trucking companies. On the one hand, we have the mobile app where we digitalize the whole trucker journey. We are focusing also on all the pre-gate and gate process and operations. And as main features of the app, we have a multi-factor authentication via biometrics that is complying with MLA and ISPS standards. We also like the app is very user-friendly for the truck drivers. And apart from that, the system is very reliable. So they are based in existing infrastructure. And on the other hand, we have the web app for both terminal operators and also the tracking companies. For terminal operators, we are streamlining all the key processes, offering them a real-time track information of the yard. We are also solving the conflicts and the incidents early with the truck drivers. And apart from that, we are offering a slot booking possibility in order to customize their slots and manage their capacities. The last part of the circle, to close the circle, is the web app for the tracking companies, where they can manage all the data related to the truck drivers, and they have also the possibility of planning the truck driver journeys by booking some slots for them. These are our numbers. We have started in April 2024 in one terminal in Halle, and right now we are live in 6 major terminals, highlighting the 3 main terminals in Halle, Port of Hamburg. In our platform, we have more than 900 tracking companies, more than 20,300 truck drivers. It's very important. We have handled more than 1.3 million trucks in the 6 terminals, and also we are we would like to be really focused on taking care of the truck drivers. We have an average response of less than 7 minutes per incident with the truck drivers directly. And of course, we have a continuous operation since we started in 2024. So that's it. Thank you very much for your attention, and I will be really pleased to answer any questions, maybe later on or in the lunch. So thank you very much.
Gracias, Silvia. Thank you so much, Guillermo, for that. Last but not least, before we invite our experts, we'll have Naik Londono from Aeler. Naik represents a startup redefining the standard container through advanced materials and smart technologies. Please welcome.
Super. Okay, hi everyone. So I'm Naik, co-founder of Aeler. We're a company based in Switzerland, reinventing the shipping container. Basically, we're really building a new asset class that is, as was explained before, a mixture of new materials, embedded technologies. We're basically making your modern autonomous car, but on a container version. And as you'll see afterwards, there are a lot of different structural benefits that we're also bringing to a container that has simply not changed for about 50 years. When you don't change a product for 50 years, there are a lot of gaps that end up happening very naturally in the industry. So you can see us as a step forward, basically, that takes care of the end customer. The logic that we're going with, and this is quite important, the container today is just a cost center. It's meant to be as cheap as possible. We are changing that mentality to make it as usable or as valuable as possible for the end customer, right? So we go from the customer problems and we backtrack into what technologies should have been adopted in modern-day containers to actually serve their issues. There are actually a few things specifically that our customers currently are suffering from. 4 trends or transitions that we're seeing. The first one is there are a lot of underserved cargo out there, so they need to, let's say, top up their container experience with additional packaging or visibility or other things, but it's an add-on mentality, right, which is not perfect. Second one, there's a big trend towards decarbonization from air to sea transition, but there are some difficulties for that. There's a transition from refrigerated transportation to non-refrigerated transportation where possible, and currently there's a gap also in the market, and the last one is for bulk liquids. And basically the container that we invented sits squarely in the middle of all of that. We are an in-between, a dry container, so by standard we're basically a dry container, but we have characteristics of refrigerated containers on one hand, so we have the same level of insulation, but without the active part, so we basically play the role of a thermos. We can also transport bulk liquids in what's called flexi tanks, for those of you that are familiar, but we can actually load more cargo, about 20% more cargo than standard flexi tanks because our walls are much stronger, we don't bulge. And the last thing is, since everything in our container comes embedded with traceability and especially security, since we control the manufacturing of the container, we've built an actual locking mechanism inside a container. It's like insane to think that 14 trillion worth of goods are transferring through the world with containers that a child can open with a pair of scissors, right? So we are actually building internalized locking systems, not locks that you have to buy as a second-hand and put outside and advertise your container as being locked. But our containers come de facto lockable, which means that we have now had a lot of successes helping companies transition in these modes, and we had just now a massive luxury company do its first shipments from air to sea thanks to that innovation. And on top of that, of course, it comes with the platform, comes, AI ready because from the get-go, the company was meant to collect as much and as pure information as possible. Again, to think what's next for these customers as well. How can we serve them better as they start using a container that is just better for an immediate gain. The way that we actually approach the markets, many of you would think, well, that's a solution for the shipping lines, for Max and so on. That is not the case. The way that we approach the market is going directly to the end customers. So our model currently is via an SOC model, so a shipper-owned container. We provide the containers as a service, and we then partner with different freight forwarders, shipping line, and so on to deliver that service to the customers. But it was important because innovation in that space doesn't come very natural usually, so the real pull comes from the market, right? It comes from customers. So we went first to the customers, we went first to validate a lot of these use cases, and it's with these, little package of big brands. I cannot put them here, but we usually have one of the top 3 brands in the world in any vertical that we went through, right? So some of the names that I can mention is like Procter & Gamble, for example, and so on, but we have top 3 in luxury, top 3 in pharma, top 3 in FMCG, beverages, chemicals, etc. And with these package, we can come now to partners, and we've started signing some large global partnerships to deploy And the axis is very simple. Either those are the partners that deploy with us, or someone else will do it because the customer is the one deciding in this case. What we have already signed actually gets us to profitability, right? So the scale, basically, of deploying to these customers and partners can get us to profitability. The problem right now is less commercial and it's more execution. So the container is still a piece of the whole puzzle. We needed to create an environment where everyone is agreeing that we want to deploy this innovation and these benefits for customers. And maybe, I don't know if I can come back, but one thing that is quite important here is after the payment of our solution, we deliver systematically over 10% cost gains. So those of you who know how purchasing happens in this industry, usually customers change providers for 2%, right? So we deliver systematically more than 10%, sometimes up to 90% in the luxury space, of course, from air to sea, and usually more than 20% CO2 reduction as well. So it's with these systematic gains that we then go and look at deployments, and the question is, okay, how? So currently we have 2 vehicles that we have open. So we are closing an extension of the Series A that we just had. We're preparing a Series B next year as well already, looking at ideally bridging the gap with Series B investors that are dipping their toes into a Series A at the moment. And we're also opening an asset co separately. This one is something where we're discussing with a few of the shipping lines to potentially co-invest in the asset co itself to facilitate deployments to those customers that we engage with together. And that's it. Next phase is basically making this a reality.